Well, I'm sad.
I'm sad. I think though we both picked albums that are sad, but are just like at the end of the day, you're like, oh, this is kind of uplifting. Like I felt like I feel like even the Sparkle Horse album at times is like,
yeah, definitely.
He has good interviews and he has good I don't know, good stories. He sometimes had a good outlook on life, but you know he just kind of was overcome with bad emotions. I mean
man, reading about his suicide is rough.
Yeah,
because he's like living with some dudes. He's like gonna get divorced. Or something.
He was in the process of divorce,
and he shot himself in the heart with a rifle. Like that can't be easy. Like he just walked out of the house with it and like and in like an alleyway. He got a text and he just told his friends like it's not good, and then got up, left with the rifle, and he had drank a bunch of whiskey or something and killed himself in an alleyway or something like that. And I think it was in Knoxville, Tennessee, if I remember right. That sounds right.
Yeah. He is a sad dude. Again, he's like on the Elliott Smith thing where he just stabbed himself in the heart, unless you believe the conspiracy theory behind
I mean,
that.
that one is kind of weird, but that dude was also very sad.
Oh, so much. Elliott Smith was so sad. Great songwriter, though.
So here's the thing I was talking about with Caitlin when we were talking about this album. Do you think artists commit suicide more often, or do you think we only care about artists when they, like, your plumber hangs himself? Does anybody care?
Right. Like, I think I heard Chris Cornell say this in a really good interview about like artists typically, being encouraged to and romanticize about their intake of drugs and alcohol and mental health issues, and how that's like a thing that's encouraged, and people only care about somebody when they're looked up to from their art. But he said it was a good viewpoint where he was like, yeah, like when you go to say like a meeting room where you're talking with other people with addiction issues, it's not just there. You can go to a meeting room with 100 people. 2 of them are musicians, but the other one's the mechanic, the banker, the doctor, the lawyer, like everybody. So it's instilled more in that. But I think it is one of those things that you hear more about it because there's in America in general, there's a massive struggle with addiction issues, and there's people committing suicide a lot, as of late. And for a while, I think artists do get more notoriety. Doesn't seem like the right word, but I think it's just more publicized, and because they made this art, and then people go back and look at lyrics and like, oh yeah, it was on the writings on the wall or whatever. But I think you make what you want to hear. But I don't know. Artists are in a tough place, and you have to find a boundary within yourself to like don't, like, to me, it's like being sad for the sake of your art is just not worth it. No. It's really not, because you will kill yourself. Yeah. You will kill yourself because when you're making that kind of sacrifice, it's an unhealthy coping mechanism, I think. Because when those things are taken away, it's really hard to know who you are. And I think those, but that's the unfortunate part, is that it's encouraged. Like, you need to be drunk or you need to be high in order to do your art thing because it makes you more comfortable or whatever it is. But honestly, the perspective you gain not being on those things, I think is way more valuable than being on those things, because you have a really skewed outlook on the world, which you can make an argument like, oh, that's an outlook you'd never see. But I feel like I'd rather have a clear-cut perspective, and I think
for sure,
like on the Mount Erie record, there's a clarity there. Like, he knew very much so what he was writing about, and he had an intention with that record. Definitely. I think sometimes, and it comes out in Sparkle Horse's music, where the genres are all over the place, which I love. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. But at times, you can see the insecurity in his voice. You can feel it. Yeah.
It's kind of manic. It's kind of just like you don't really know what's coming up next, and like maybe he didn't know what was coming up next either when he was making it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a tough thing, and you hear it all the time. But it is, you just got to watch your shit. Because that culture in itself is enveloped in a lot of that stuff, where it's just romanticized to be the sad guy.
Romanticized and enabled.
Yeah.
Like, and heavily enabled.
Yeah, so. Where it's like, oh, I need to do this for my art. Like, I remember talking to my therapist about that one time, where she's like, do you feel like you need to like be self-destructive in order to make good art? And I was like, huh. maybe, I guess, I don't know. And then just like having to evaluate that and be like, am I self-destructive because I want to for my art, but then my art sounds like shit, you know? It's like, what the fuck am I doing, you know? Yeah, that's a good topic though, I think, because it's fascinating because there's so many artists who have committed suicide, but you got to think about, again, the environment of enabling and the struggle that is, like, you know, depression and addiction and all that is just so instilled in music and comedy and entertainment in general that it's a really fucking hard thing to get out of, though.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. Got a weird connection here, actually, with this topic and what we just went through. So, I recently learned, I don't know anything about Lil Peep. Do you know anything about Lil Peep?
Yeah, he died.
He died. That's all everybody
he's
knows.
a rapper who died.
Did you know that some of his hits that kind of got him big, he was sampling Microphones songs?
Whoa, really?
Yep. So he was kind of known as like an emo rapper.
Right.
Sorry, guys. I'm 30 years old. I don't know anything about
We'll have to do a rap episode.
Dude, I was thinking about that. Like doing some of genres that we're not super into, but both of us like dig into something.
Well, people want to suggest. If you're watching, suggest some like rap records, like Lil Peep records. I'll listen to them.
I'll listen to it. I think it'd be really funny for us to do a black metal episode too, and just be full corpse paint the whole time, but like normal clothes. So
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be so fun.
Okay, coming soon to an ear swap near you.
Yes. Do we want to put the like suicide hotline number up on the screen?
I feel like we should.
I think we probably should. This episode's. I mean, I don't think the episode's sad, but we're talking about sad things.
Yeah, or you know, struggling with addiction or any of that shit. It's tough stuff, and there are resources out there.
Definitely,
it is something you can overcome. It's possible. You just got to do that shit one day at a time, though.
I would also like to take this time to plug your album by Morning Habit.
Thanks.
Titled
Fear and Faith.
Fear and Faith.
Yeah.
Yes. Go listen to that, guys. That came out recently. It's awesome.
Thanks, Shane.
You got a whole 6 monthly listeners, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I finally made it. I got 6 of them. Six of them. Yeah. Thanks, Shane, for plugging my album.
Yeah.
That's an album about addiction and recovery.
And I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but
I can talk about it.
I think it's very clear which songs are about, like where each song is written in your life. So,
yeah.
And there's like a clear line with it, which I thought was the coolest thing about the record.
Yeah, it was a tough one to go through. To go back to those songs and listen to them, I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah. That guy's hurting. But it felt like a separate person, which was kind of the thing. So the whole album's chronological. From the first song to the last was all chronological from like beginning of kind of my addiction issues, then when it got really fucking bad, and then when I got sober. So it was like...
And recorded at those times.
Yeah, and recorded in real time.
Not recorded later and written before.
Right.
So, like, you get up to, like, was it song number 5, and it just, like, is a complete cut, and it's just, like, a different album from there on out.
Yeah.
Which... Very cool.
Yeah, it wasn't my intention when I recorded those initial songs was to like make an album about addiction and recovery because I was just so lost. And but I had them still, and I was like, hey, I'm writing all this stuff sober. Like, how I'm curious what it'd sound like to try to piece this thing together and hear what it sounds like to do like addiction to recovery. And yeah, it was fun. Tristan Statler, great dude. He's in TF Bundy, and he recorded that album. Good homie. We were in Sutphin together. He recorded that for me and recorded very different from how Connor Eves, who does Short Stories with Shane, recorded the other half.
Also of Junior Retreat and what's his new one called?
Don't Drink the Water.
Don't Drink the Water.
I don't know if they're playing. He told me today. I don't know if they're playing anything now.
Connor's always got something going on.
He's got something. Like, but and then Connor kind of went through and we did that thing, and he was really great to record with. Both of them were. So yeah, if you want to listen to that, I guess I'll plug my own album. But Shane brought it up. I did not. It up.
Yep.
I did not.
I wanted to talk about it.
Thanks. So. I appreciate that. So yeah, we'll have to. There's some hotlines out there. If you got struggle with addiction, there's sources.
Or depression.
Depression.
If you're thinking about killing yourself, definitely reach out to somebody.
Yeah, reach out to somebody, and there's hope. That's all I can say. There is hope. There is a chance to recover, and there is a chance to change.
For sure.
Absolutely.